This video is made possible by the amazing support of angelspit's Patreon members. Subscribe to angelspit's Patreon and get eternal life. Yes, live forever. For this month only. Plus a new track and video each month, videos such as this one. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, get notifications, and do all that stuff. The Gospel of Merch according to Angelspit, Chapter 1, Product. Merch is such a huge topic. It's going to take me at least 3 videos for me to cover it. And these are barely even going to scratch the surface. Everything presented here is from my own personal experience. So it's what's worked for me and it's also what has not worked for me. This is geared towards small bands who are just starting out on merch, focusing on online sales as opposed to live gig sales. It's important to think about this as a business and merch is an investment. So return on investment is the point of the exercise. Also, you must know your audience's demographic. Their age, sex, interests are invaluable for tailoring merch to hit your audience. And you can find all that stuff out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Spotify, all the social media thingies. Before you make a t-shirt or a sticker, it needs to look cool. Content is king. The design is critical. The more appealing, the more it will sell. Now, if you're not confident in your design abilities, hire an artist or do a competition with your fans. Get them to design a t-shirt. First prize gets a couple of the t-shirts and some cash. The obvious idea is to use your band's name or logo or the album cover or the band's photos. Put those things on the merch. But how about using cool little fragments of lyrics? There might be a cool image within the artwork that will work really well on a t-shirt. Also, small lyric ideas, little fragments of lyrics, they look great on wristbands. You only need 1 or 2 strong designs, as you can put the same design on a t-shirt, a sticker, and all the other stuff too. Make sure the design is appropriate for your fans' genre market. Like, you don't want to be selling potpourri if you're a cyberpunk band, unless you have a new track called You Stink. And actually, that's a really good idea. It's also important to consider the band's values and the image. Like, what are you about? What image are you projecting? Does the merch reflect this? In this series, I'll be focusing on bulk merch production. Example, when you go to a print shop and you get 60 t-shirts made, or if you duplicate 250 CDs or produce 300 silicone wristbands directly from the factory, or 250 vinyl records. I won't be covering on-demand merch production, which caters for smaller runs like under 30 units. On-demand is a great way to test the water, but it comes with high production costs, which means lower profit margins. So now we have a cool design. So what shall we put it on? There are a zillion things besides t-shirts that a band can produce. Just look at all the merch items that movies put out, like lunchboxes and stuff. But manufacturing a wide variety of merch items costs a lot. Ask yourself, what are your audience into? What do they expect to see from your band's merch? So you've already researched your demographic. And if your audience are predominantly male from 25 to 40, don't do makeup or jewelry. Trust me on that one. Like, what's your band's thing? If you're a stoner band, sell a lighter and an ashtray and face masks. If you're into surf rock, bathing suits and beach towels and face masks. If it's a medical thing, syringe pens, face masks, and face masks. And if you're post-apocalyptic, do goggles and tin food and seed packets and gas masks. Angelspit has produced everything from t-shirts to posters to makeup to jewelry to stress balls to syringe pens to face masks to ties to USBs to collars to caps. You name it, we've done it. So here are my thoughts on several different types of merch. And in the next video, I'll get into pricing. T-shirts are a must. They are cheap to produce and they have a great profit margin. Buying a band's t-shirt is a no-brainer. And remember, the more colors in the print, it means the more expensive they'll be to produce. So I stick to black t-shirts, as adding different colored t-shirts into the mix actually multiplies the variance of the price. And also, if you print on different t-shirt colors, you want, for example, awesome red, not crappy pinky brown red. And the problem is that awesome red, those t-shirts ain't cheap. Black t-shirts are cheap, and with a t-shirt, black is black. Yes to hoodies, but these can be expensive to produce because a good quality hoodie is not cheap. And the higher the price point, the less attractive it becomes to buy. And when you print them, make sure they're ready just before winter, because if you print them during winter, you'll hit spring and you've got a merch store full of winter apparel. Also, hoodies are big and bulky, so they add shipping costs. You're going to need larger, tougher, padded envelopes to ship them because they don't fit in regular envelopes. CDs were a necessity, but they're disappearing due to the decline of availability of CD players. Cars haven't shipped with a CD player on board in years. Can you even buy a CD player anymore? I'm not aware of them becoming retro, but they probably will. Why? Interestingly, people still buy them because they want something physical that they can sign. She's a trained professional. I sell about 1/10 of the CDs I sold about 5 years ago, and every year that number decreases. Vinyl is a really cool idea, but it's much harder to sell than you think. I should sell cats. It's also difficult to sell with the minimum orders, and because you're getting so many in bulk, a lot of bands have difficulty in moving that number. Posters are awesome and cheap to produce, but make sure they don't get crushed when you ship them. Also, shipping a poster tube internationally is not cheap. USB keys are awesome, especially when you put your logo on them. You can also get them in all colors and shapes and sizes, and you can add exclusive content for extra awesomeness. You can get a small run of these for a high price, or a bulk run for a lower price per unit. But bulk runs come with a steep minimum order. More on this in the next video. Remember, if you get a bulk order, it might take years for you to sell them all. And that might not be a problem, because if you sell them across different releases, you can keep updating the content on them because it's a USB. VHS is not a huge demand, but they're definitely a huge cool factor. Remember, you'll need to have video content to put on it. It's super difficult finding somewhere to duplicate these. Luckily, I know a guy, and I'll share that with you in the description. Cassettes have a definite cool retro appeal. Small audience, but it's growing, and they're becoming increasingly easy to produce. Many CD pressing plants also duplicate cassette tapes. A thing to remember with CDs, vinyls, VHSs, and cassettes is that although they all contain the same content, the artwork needs to be drastically reworked so that they fit the covers and the booklet specs. Pins and button badges are a definite yes. They are cheap to produce and mega awesome. You can sell them in a pack or you can just give them away. Bottle openers, caps, stress pillows, pens, etc. These things kind of add a wow, that's cool factor, but make sure it's attractive and appropriate to your demographic. Angelspit printed stress balls in the shape of a pill, and we thought they were really cool, but unfortunately, the audience didn't. We also printed pens in the shape of a syringe, and they had our logo on it. Luckily, the audience thought they were very cool. Also, be aware that some items, such as lighters, may have shipping restrictions. Plus, doing a small order run of this type of product could result in a weak profit margin because they cost so much to make and you can only sell them for so much. Silicone wristbands are a great idea because they have a great profit margin, they've got a strong appeal, and due to their low price, you can give them away. They're a really excellent way to promote. Ditto with stamped dog tags. You can wear them as a necklace or you can put them on a keychain. Laser cut jewelry is great and it's increasingly easy to make, but there's a lot of competition, so the price point needs to be competitive. Keep in mind that if you're going to do laser cutting, you may have to build a lot of the jewelry components yourself. So make sure you have jewelry making tools. And Star Trek, because I like to make jewelry while I'm watching Star Trek. There are a lot of variables with phone cases and iPad cases, as different models have different dimensions, so it might be best to go with on-demand printing for these. You can also make download cards for next to nothing. Link them to an exclusive mix of an album with B-sides or rarities and include a free download card with every order. Even better, send download cards to all your other friends in bands and ask them to include them in their merch. Fun idea? Get a rubber ink stamp made and stamp everything. Most of the merch items I've mentioned have a minimum order, and that's what's going to make this really expensive. Remember, if you get it in bulk, it's cheaper, so you have a better profit margin, but you need to move a lot more of the items to take advantage of that profit margin. If you get it from an on-demand printing service, you get exactly the amount you need, but it comes at a higher price, so the profit margin is not as good. In the next video, I'll talk about manufacture, quantities, and cost. Thus concludes the Gospel of Band Merch according to Angelspit, Chapter 1, Product. Remember to like and subscribe so you get notification when we release the Gospel of Band Merch according to Angelspit, Chapter 2, Manufacture. And remember to join Angelspit's Patreon if you want to see these videos and more videos early.